and sisters, something seriously is happening. Something very serious is happening. And our so-called political elites and leaders do not care. They're not doing anything about it. They feel very unconcerned about it. Our political elites do not care about it. Our people are left rudderless, tossed here and there by the tempests and the winds of the sea. Nobody cares. Every day we hear stories of thousands and thousands of Futajelong Kambari Fulani being transported by every means of transportation down into our land, down into the John Nation, down into Igbo land, down into Insecurity land, down into Ogoni land, down into Yoruba land, down into Edo, every day, in the most unthinkable factions, in their thousands. If you go to Biafra today, as I'm talking, all the fishing settlements and the farming villages are occupied and controlled by these fellows. We are job people, we are strong. Nothing is going to happen. A man is only strong when he's with his people, when he has enough number to overcome his enemy. We should not underestimate these people. They have our money with us. They have been receiving tons and tons of our money. They have brought Abacha stole and sharing it amongst themselves. A minister in a federation came to say they're sharing the money in the north because there are no poor people in the south. And where are our governors? Where are our local ministers? Where are our women rights ministers? Where are our women rights lawyers? All of them, they close their mouth. But this is more sinister. This is more sinister. They are coming here. They are changing the demography. What are they coming for? You remember Osman Danfodio, how they came to Sokoto, to Gobiri, to Kanu, to Katsina, to be there. And what happened? They replaced the Abe rulers. They replaced the original people and took over the realms of power. They are coming. History is going to repeat itself if we don't act now. They are coming. History is going to repeat itself if we don't act now. They are not pretending about it. They are coming with war, destruction, and death. They are coming to occupy our land. Why you cannot go to your community? In Obama, how many Obama people are at home? They are leaving their home and they are coming here. Obama is a village. You cannot come to Obama. Those of us who live in Obama, we are backward people. Buguma is a village. Abonima is a village. You don't care. You are not bothered. But when death will come, it will not only come for Dokubo Asari. When the evil and the tribulation will come, it will not come for only Dokubo Asari, it will come for all of us. I'm smarter than you. I know that I'm more prepared than you. And when it comes, I will also run faster than you. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. It's not grandstanding like Wiki. I caught 14 people grandstanding. This is beyond grandstanding. This is a time for strategy. This is a time for consultation. This is a time for meeting. Our very survival is at stake. We must stand up and defend ourselves, or we will all perish in the hands of these blood-tasty monsters who will give us the Sokoto treatment.
Welcome to this platform, and thank you for joining us. As if you've just watched that particular video now, you can see Asari Dokubo making that statement, seeking apology, trying to see how he can, indirectly speak to the Igbo nation, both those in Southeast and those in South, pretentiously seeking for forgiveness, to an extension, acknowledging that Nnamdi Kanu was a hero, and Nnamdi Kanu foresaw or foresee the future. That Nnamdi Kanu, and at a point, he was trying to claim too that nobody's going to take that Igbo identity from him. That's Asari Dokubo there, but there was something actually that happened before you start seeing this kind of recent confession coming from Amayebo of Ijola. That way. A lot of people have actually discovered that if there's going to be a force that Asari Dokubo cannot stand the Igbo fully, or cannot stand the Igbo anger, or cannot stand the popularity and the loyalty people has given to Nnamdi Kanu, both outside Biafraland and beyond. Nnamdi Kanu is being celebrated today. Maybe I don't know what he is thinking at this point in time, because what he thought would have happened, is not actually what is actually happening now. Everybody is talking about Nnamdi Kanu, even those that didn't expect that they are appealing or asking forgiveness. You can see numerous of them on the line, and the weight of the law is coming upon Nigeria as a result of the injustice meted on Nnamdi Kanu, not only in Nigeria, but also in the international space, as events continue to be monitored and unfold. And yes, you can see that it was reported that there is massive migration of Militia jihadists in the south and southeast. It was reported in one of the Nigerian dailies, and that sent a serious signal to the supposed Igbo land is safe. You can see what they did to them in Enugu State. You can see what they did to them in Abia State. You can see what they did to them in Imo State. The network of security in Biafraland is so tight. But what surprises Asari Dokubo is that they got to him. They got to Asari Dokubo. He saw it very clearly that even the so-called Asari Dokubo cannot actually defend himself. That him too has acknowledged that he was, if you look at all manner of things, the guy was saying in the past, you will never believe that he has now come to terms, and if he claiming that he's a Biafran, that there's an Igbo, that his Igbo blood is him, that nobody's going to take care. He foresees danger. He sees that he cannot fight these people alone, and these people, he told them that he is no longer safe. That he needs help, that he cannot fight alone, that he needs the forces of. He was just entirely, apologetic and calling for the entire Biafraland, including the South and Southeast, to unite, irrespective of nationalities, ethnic nationalities, which we are also seeing that it was a government manipulated, political game to dismantle the deep Igbo structure in the South. But you can see that those arrangements now, I thank God for some people from the Ijola, the Shekiri, Urobo, who are waking up to the reality, because it has gotten to them. The jihadi that was reported that has invaded the part of South. They don't want to know whether you are an Ijo. They don't want to know whether you are the Shekiri. They don't want to know whether you are the Urobo. They don't want to. All they know is that anybody that comes from within the eastern axis is an Igbo. And because they control the largest region of Christianity in Nigeria, they must bow down, they must surrender to Islam. So you can see that Asari Dokubo actually cried out. But, it's very funny. Anyway, they can only tie it somewhere else, not in Igbo land this time around. I used to say it very clearly that the Nigerian Biafra war was purely a religious war. And when you're talking about a religious war, you're talking about jihad. Ojuku fought jihad and they pushed it to the shadows. That's what Ojuku did. He pushed it to the shadows. And over the years, you can see the build-up is gradually, coming up again and all that. So what is actually happening? Yes, I can see that American government are actually taking a step. You can see Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, Marco Rubio, and the rest of them, are looking deeply into the cross appeal of the federal government over Nnamdi Kanu's possible release at the end of the day, and the continued detention of the genocide that is going on against Nigeria. It is not the whole thing is about conquest, and that's not how you remove jihad from it. But it is the Asari Dokubo too, who claim to be a warlord, who claim to be this, who claim that he's going to destroy the Igbo. No, why is he not calling on the Igbo leaders or the Igbo nation or the Igbo youth, IPOB members all over the world, are seeking support, are seeking forgiveness, asking, because there's nothing you can do about the reality on ground now, because the whole entire structure is on target. So if you do, I think General Asamoja has been making a lot of statements in that regard. But now that we have seen Asari Dokubo, asking for forgiveness, acknowledging the stand of man. You see, it is only it's an open wound, that's truth, and the whatever that can heal it, has to be very, very, very deep. Asari Dokubo failed, and it's left for you there to see, to talk whether Asari Dokubo should be forgiven after so many atrocities, or even claiming to have disallowed Igbo youth to please the federal government, and even claimed, that he actually masterminded the killing of Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya until God intervened on his side. He claimed a lot of things, and most of those things are not, realistic. Ever since he fell out with Nnamdi Kanu because of greediness, yes, and he decided not to be loyal to his own identity, loyal to the cause of reality. But he decided, according to him, that Bola Tinubu was his godfather and father, and he pledged loyalty, to Bola Tinubu. The same Bola Tinubu, actually brought Buhari. The same Bola Tinubu also brought, Shetima, the vice president. The same Bola Tinubu. So the western part of Nigeria. So the Fulani, yes, I keep on saying it, and that is the fact. Today, the Yorubas are crying, they are weeping, and that's the reality. If Bola Tinubu is actually sincere, why did he now sentence Nnamdi Kanu to prison? Why did he now go after Simon Ekpa? So it tells you that, the whole picture is becoming very clear. And this is not the time of deception. This is the time to champion the Biafran cause. This is because the Biafra is the only way out to stop jihad in Nigeria. Because the target are not the Yorubas. The target are the Igbo people. The target is the eastern region. The target is the south and southeast. The target is the resources. But as I Dokubo, they were not seeing what Nnamdi Kanu was seeing at that time. Or pretentiously, because of their selfish reasons, or because of their pocket, or because they felt that they have achieved enough, through government patronage, and there's no need. But what is happening in Niger Delta, there's a massive, air pollution. There's massive lack of industrialization in that area. The people at that area is being subject to slavery, even by those who claim they are militants, they are agitators, they are agitating for this. They are able to achieve that. The answer is no. In between the line, they compromise. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has become a phenomenon, a reference point, a mark of a hero anywhere, anytime, any day. And it is being acknowledged like that anywhere in the world. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu remains the resistance and the only solution that we must understand that fought and destroyed the conquest agenda in Biafraland. Thank you.